Hey everyone, welcome back. So today I'm going to be sharing with you how we found out that we were pregnant. And not only pregnant, but pregnant with twins. So a little story time for you guys. So grab your coffee. I'll try not to make it very long, but it's a cute story, so I have to share it with you guys. So, quick rundown how we got here to us even trying to get pregnant, right? So, we are just coming back from being in South Korea for 3 years, right? The hubby and I knew that we wanted to have at least one more baby, but we didn't want to try while we were in Korea because it's Korea, it's on the other side of the world. So, we wanted to be closer to family. So now that we're in Oklahoma, we, talked it out or whatever. I did most of the talking, he did most of the listening. And we had decided, you know what, we're in Oklahoma. We're still not, in a state where family is, but at least we're in the States and travel for our family will be much easier here opposed to South Korea. So we decided, okay, we want to have another baby. So, of course, we started trying, and it took about a month and we found out we were pregnant. Now, I purposely took a pregnancy test before I got my next period. So usually, you'll get a period, and then when you miss the following period, that's pretty much a reason to take a pregnancy test, because if you missed your period, you're most likely pregnant. But I was so anxious. And the day that I decided to take this pregnancy test, I actually was feeling really nauseous, and I threw up a couple of times. So I thought, man, are we pregnant already? Like, that was kind of quick. So that's what made me decide to take a pregnancy test before my missed period. The fact that I wasn't feeling well and I was throwing up. And obviously I have 2 kids, so I know that those are signs of pregnancy. So I decided to take a pregnancy test 4 days before my missed period. Long behold, that puppy came back positive. So, I shared the news with the hubby. He was so excited. We didn't tell the kids yet because I had an appointment the following that Monday. I took the pregnancy test on Friday, and I made an appointment that Monday so that I can go to the doctor and they can kind of confirm before I shared any information with the kids, right? So I go I go to my doctor's appointment. They confirm pregnancy and they're like, yes, ma'am, you're pregnant. And I'm like, yay, that kind of happened a lot quicker than what we expected, because I had been on birth control for 8 years, which is how old my youngest is. My daughter, she just turned 8. So I figured, gosh, I've been on birth control for so long. It's probably going to take us a long time to get pregnant, but it didn't, thank God it didn't. So that's that. We're excited. We're pregnant. Good to go. Right. Okay. So moving right along, 2 days after that Monday, I had an ultrasound appointment. Now, usually you wouldn't even get an ultrasound this early in pregnancy, but my doctor wanted me to get an ultrasound because I had told her, she's like, okay, well, you're pregnant, you feeling good, how's it going, whatever. So I told her I'm feeling fine except for like a lot of nausea, the little throwing up. But I did notice that I was cramping a lot, like on my right lower tummy. Excuse me, I was cramping. And I remember, it's been a long time since I've been pregnant. My son is 10. My son is 9, about to be 10 in a couple of months, and our daughter just turned 8. So that's a long time to remember all of the pregnancy symptoms besides the throwing up. But I did remember having cramps, but like slightly, just that, your insides are changing, a little crampy here and there, no big deal. But with this pregnancy, I was like, man, I'm cramping, and it hurt, it was like horrible period cramps, but I was like, I know I'm not my period. So anyway, I shared this information with my doctor, and she's like, you know what? In 2 days, let me set you up for an appointment to have an ultrasound, because she didn't like the sound of, me getting, pretty bad cramps so early, since I was only literally like not even 4 weeks pregnant, or right about 4 weeks pregnant. So long story short, make the appointment at the ultrasound. I'm there. And for the longest, my husband has been saying, you know what? You need to just have twins, right? Like I have an option. You need to just have twins. That way you can just, knock them both out. Because he's like, Tay and Leia have each other. They're 18 months apart. So he's like, if we have one baby, once Tay and Leia, go to high school and college, like this baby's going to be, all by itself. So she was like, this baby needs a brother or a sister, just like Tay had Leia and Leia had Tay. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Like that sounds great. But like, you think of like having twins, but you don't ever think that you would be pregnant with twins, right? Especially if twins don't run in your family, which in my family, they don't, except for recently I found out that my mom told me that my grandfather may have had a twin brother or something. Anywho, staying back on track. So, my husband for the longest, I'm praying for twins. When we were in Korea, before we even decided that we wanted to try for baby number 3, he was like, well, you just gotta have twins. You just gotta have twins. And I'm like, yeah, sounds good, believable, but it's not something that we can choose, right? So I was like, it probably never happened to us. So I get to my ultrasound and I tell my technician, my husband couldn't go because of COVID, so he wasn't able to go into the hospital at all. So I went to this appointment by myself. And, she starts getting ready for the ultrasound, and she starts looking, and she's not saying much, right? And then me to kind of break the ice, because she wasn't saying anything, and I'm just laying there, kind of like, So me to break the ice and not feel so awkward, I told her, I said, oh, by the way, my husband wanted me to tell you that make sure you keep looking until you find twins, because he's been praying for twins for the longest, before we even ever started trying to have kids. He's been talking about, you need to have twins, blah, blah, blah. And she smiles from ear to ear, and I'm looking at her like, okay, this even got more awkward. She didn't say anything, so I was like, oh, it's supposed to be funny. Like I was trying to crack a joke, and I was like, oh, my husband said don't stop looking in the ultrasound until you find 2 babies, ha ha ha, like that's possible just because he said so, you're gonna find 2, lady, right? So I was like, okay, maybe that joke wasn't funny to her, maybe I'm interrupting her, but after I said that, she smiled, but she didn't say anything. So I'm like, okay, forget breaking the ice, now this is even more uncomfortable than it was to begin with. She finally looks at me and she says, you are having twins. And I looked at her and I said, shut up. She probably thought, damn, you are rude. I was like, shut up. Because honestly, it was such a shock. I was in disbelief. It was literally a joke. I was being funny, because never on this earth would I ever think that I would be pregnant with twins. Lo and behold, she tells me, you are having twins. There is 2 sacs and 2 eggs in here. And I said, get out of here. She turns the monitor. I can't believe it. My heart is racing. I have my mask on because everybody has to have their mask on because of COVID. I couldn't breathe. I was hyperventilating. I was literally freaking out. But when I looked at the screen and she showed me this, I could not believe that was the sign of being pregnant with twins. I could see it. 2 sacs, 2 eggs, and I still don't believe it. It's almost like my husband just prayed it into existence. Like he said, we're having, I want you to have twins. We should have twins. Just knock them both out at the same time. Just get pregnant one time, one delivery. And then it happens. So I don't know what is going on, but long story short, that is how we found out I was pregnant with twins. I hope you enjoyed this journey as much as we are, and I will see you guys in my next update or in my next video. Bye!